For the past 3 years, my main phone, the one I use to take photos, shoot videos, scroll social media, reply to messages, do mobile banking, and stream late night YouTube, has been the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And in 2025, I'm here to tell you, you probably don't need the iPhone 14, 15, or even the iPhone 16, at least not for the reasons Apple wants you to think. This is going to be less of a spec rundown and more of a long-term experience review. What's still holding up, what I wish was better, and why this might just be the correct iPhone to buy in 2025. Let's start with the obvious. Performance. The A15 Bionic chip inside the iPhone 13 Pro Max is still fast, like buttery smooth fast. Apps open instantly, scrolling is never laggy, and I haven't felt limited. And yes, I still game occasionally, GTA San Andreas, Pokemon card game, Octopath Traveler, and the frame rates are solid. If you're someone who mostly uses their phone for day-to-day tasks, social media, banking apps, messaging, and video, the iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't slow down. 3 years in and it still feels like a flagship. One thing about being a tech reviewer is that I get to use other phones as well, particularly the Xiaomi 14 and the latest Poco F7 Ultra. By comparison, even with the same 120Hz refresh rate across all three devices, the Android phones look and feel faster due to the way animations are rendered. For me, I do notice the difference because I fidget a lot on my phones. However, that doesn't mean the iPhone is slower. It's just that they are different in the way animations are rendered. The battery is probably my favorite thing about this phone. When it was new, I was getting 7 hours of screen time. Now, it's still doing 6 hours depending on usage. That's impressive longevity. I know the newer iPhones may offer slightly better endurance, but it's the iPhone 13 Pro Max that set the benchmark for battery life on iPhones. And 3 years later, it's still reliable. As of writing, the lifespan of the battery is at 79%. Even then, I could still last the whole day with this kind of battery level. What's even more impressive is that despite having this warning message from Apple, I have yet to encounter a significant performance impact. Except for one thing. The icons in the settings sometimes load half a second late. I'm not sure why, but I noticed this happening when I updated to iOS 18. The good thing is that Apple sends out patches regularly, and that one issue is something that's getting better with every update. Would I pay a premium for slightly better battery stats? Personally, no. What I could do though is just have the battery replaced when I feel I need it to be replaced. But for now, I'm good. The 120Hz Pro Motion display, still gorgeous. It's sharp, vibrant, and honestly, I don't feel like I'm missing anything compared to the newer iPhones. Unless you're constantly comparing side by side, it's hard to even tell the difference, but what I really like about the iPhone displays is that they don't typically have burn-in problems. I mean, 3 years in, and I have yet to see a single burn-in on the screen on this OLED panel, which is typically the problem with OLED devices. The build, surgical grade stainless steel frame, matte glass back, this thing feels premium. It still looks great even without a case, and it still feels good even without a case. Though I wouldn't recommend it. I typically use slim cases and after an unfortunate drop, I managed to break the case and scratch the edge of the phone. Other than that, no problems here, at least on the surface. Inside the phone, there is one thing. For some reason, tiny specks of dust managed to touch the lens of the telephoto camera. At first, I wasn't sure how it happened, given this phone was never opened in the first place. I searched the internet and this seems to be a common case not only in the iPhone 13 series, but also in the 14 series. That said, one thing came to mind: vibration. I used to mount my phone on my motorcycle, and while the phone's holder's grip was great, there was no anti-vibration feature. So for the longest time, my phone was vibrating strongly whenever I mounted my phone. That's my story at least, and I'm sticking to it. Fortunately, it's not the other two lenses because telephoto is the least used lens for me. Although when I do need to zoom into a subject or scene, I do have to do some reframing to hide the shadow of the dust. Now, let's talk cameras. iPhone 14, 15, and 16 may have newer sensors and more camera tricks, but the triple lens system on the 13 Pro Max still delivers excellent photos and videos. Night mode works fine, portraits are clean, 4K 60 video is smooth. Unless you're a serious mobile filmmaker, the differences are subtle. What really matters is how often those newer features affect your workflow. For me, not much. The 13 Pro Max gets the job done consistently. From being a camera nitpicker to a casual "I want great quality with one click," that's the type of camera I need today, especially the video quality. By far, I have yet to test an Android phone that can go toe-to-toe with the iPhone 13 Pro Max when it comes to video. But if there's one thing I wish I could upgrade to, that would be 8K and better ultra-wide video. I've seen the 8K on the Poco F7 Ultra, and it was great. Imagine having that on an iPhone combined with all the optimization. I can only imagine. You probably won't believe this, but the most used video lens is the ultra-wide. On the side, I also shoot house tours for a local real estate, and we managed to create a YouTube channel using mostly the ultra-wide lens of the 13 Pro Max. While I was still okay with the quality a couple of years ago, it's hard not to notice the sudden downgrade of the sharpness and details of the ultra-wide lens when lighting is limited. But when I'm not shooting for work, I mostly use the main camera, and I'm more than satisfied with the quality. If there's one fix Apple needs to make, that's wonky HDR at times. Until now, I still get weird HDR processing of people when shooting backlit, and that issue has existed since the first launch of this phone. With iOS 26 aka iOS 19 on the horizon, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is still getting major updates. It's currently in its 4th year. The general consensus is that iPhones usually get 5 or 6 years worth of software support, with a select few stretching to 7 years. With the impending release of iOS 26, that will be the 4th major update of the 13 Pro Max, meaning you're looking at it until 2027 or 2028 before Apple drops support. For the past 4 years, the only major change or addition I've seen is Apple Intelligence. Now, the 13 Pro Max doesn't support Apple Intelligence, but I do have that feature in my MacBook Pro. Additionally, I do have AI as well on my Android phones. To be honest with you, I don't find any significant impact with AI except for Circle to Search, and that's an Android feature. If I do need to do a search for something on my screen, I use Google Lens. On my iPhone, maybe you do use AI, then this phone is probably not for you. But for those old-timers who don't need AI right now, you're going to be fine here. What I'm most excited about is the new liquid glass design. I'm crossing my fingers now, hoping it would not impact the performance of the 13 Pro Max. Do let me know in the comments below if you want a separate video about that. Now here's what I didn't get by skipping iPhone 14, 15, and 16. Dynamic Island, gimmick at best for now. A16 or A17 chip, marginal improvements for most use cases. Titanium build, lighter for sure, but I've gotten used to the weight. Periscope zoom, cool, but not something I need daily. So while the newer iPhones are objectively better in some areas, they're not drastically better, not in a way that changes how I use my phone every day. What's really the deciding factor here is the price. If you're looking to get an iPhone 13 Pro Max in 2025, you're going to scour through the second-hand market. Depending on where you look, this model that I have here with 256GB storage usually starts between 30,000 to 35,000 pesos. I'm not sure about your price in your country, but that's how much it costs here in the Philippines. The cheapest brand new iPhone right now is the 16e, which starts at 128GB for 39,990 and 46,990 for the 256 model. While you do get a brand new iPhone, Apple Intelligence, more performance, and longer software support, it also means less storage, no 120Hz ProMotion display, slightly dimmer display, no ultra-wide and telephoto 3x zoom cameras, no Apple RAW, no ProRes, no cinematic video, and no Qi 2 MagSafe compatibility. That said, why not buy the other iPhones? If you go for the 12 series or earlier, the software support is shorter, and you might end up upgrading it after a couple of years. In this video, we're also keeping in mind the reasonable longevity of the device. Why not the iPhone 14? Well, it still doesn't support Apple Intelligence, not that you need it, and second, the battery life is worse compared to the iPhone 13. But yeah, so that's it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll try to answer them all. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.